Hi, my name is Dr. John Douillard. I want to talk to you today about how we can digest, process, and detoxify fat-soluble toxins that exist in our environment. As much as we like to eat a pure, healthy diet, we can't really avoid the toxicity that exists in our environment. There's coal mine plumes that cover most of America that lace all of our organic foods with mercury and heavy metals that we really can't get rid of. We have to be able to process them, and we do have the ability to process these toxins if our digestion and detoxification process are working naturally. Some folks say that toxicity is not an issue, but the Center for Children's Health and the Environment has spent $54.9 billion a year investigating the impact of toxicity on children's health. So somebody is thinking that toxicity is an issue, and it's something that in Ayurveda, they've understood that for thousands of years, that our digestion and our detoxification pathways are the same. So if you are not digesting well, hard to digest food, wheat, dairy, greasy fried food, corn, nuts, soy, not that these foods are required, but if you don't have the ability to digest them well, you may be looking down the barrel of exposure to toxicity that your body should be processing naturally, and that's what this discussion and the article associated with this video is all about. So we digest some fatty foods that may have some fatty toxins. Remember, the environmental toxins, pesticides, preservatives, parasites, they're all fat soluble. Before they can be properly detoxified from the body, they have to be converted by your liver to be water soluble, which is a big old process. So we eat them, and then the body realizes there's some fatty thing in there, and it sends bile after them, and it sort of gobbles them up and tries to emulsify them into little tiny pieces. Many of those fats are absorbed through the intestinal wall into the lymphatic system, good fats and bad fats. The good fats are used by the body to make cholesterol and skin and hormones and enzymes, many things. But the bad fats are processed back to the liver to be converted to be water soluble, to be processed out of the body, right? But if the intestinal skin is unhealthy, if the intestinal tract is dehydrated, constipated, or overly irritated and producing reactive mucus, then that lymphatic immune barrier won't work for you. Your skin of your intestinal tract is basically trying to determine who gets to be you. What is allowed to get crossed through that membrane becomes part of your body. From the Ayurvedic perspective, the stuff inside your digestive tract isn't really you until it actually gets absorbed and digested. So it's determining that, and it's sort of like the three little bears. If that skin is in just right, can't be too dry, can't be too wet, mucousy, has to be just right for that immune system to work. And the researchers tell us that 80% of our immune system takes place right there. We know that our microbiome is right there, and it supports immunity is number one priority. Of course, many other things, but the skin of your intestinal tract determines what is allowed to go into the lymph. The lymph gets congested. You're going to feel boggy, heavy, stiff, achy. Rings will swell, bloated, allergies, headaches, tiredness, lethargy. When you menstruate, your breasts will become swollen or tender prior to that event. You might get skin irritations, things like that. This is all drain clogging issues, lymphatic congestive issues, which are very, very important. So when that gets congested, we want to think about how we can get the lymph to move. And I've written much, I have a whole section on my website about lymphatic issues and how to decongest your lymphatic system. There's many strategies for that. But if that lymph system and the skin of the intestinal wall, which takes the toxins into the lymph to be processed to the liver, isn't working for you, toxins will default back to your liver. Your liver goes, really? Whoa, wait a minute. Why? I just dumped all those toxins into the intestinal tract to be processed through the lymph. And why are they all back? And the liver becomes congested. When the liver becomes congested, the bile becomes thick. And when the bile becomes thick and viscous, your ability to gobble up those fats and make them useful or break them down to be processed and detoxified becomes compromised, which means you're not going to be able to get rid of get used to the good fats or get rid of the bad fats as well as you could. And that's going to be compounded by the fact that we don't get enough fiber. The average hunter-gatherer got about 100 grams of fiber per day. The average American gets about 15. So at least 5 times more fiber they got than we got. And fiber, what it does is it attaches to the bile with all the toxins in tow and takes it to the toilet. But if you don't get enough fiber, those toxins can get reabsorbed back to your liver and congest your liver, make your bile and your gallbladder very thick and viscous, which makes you really unable to break down those fats. So when you eat a fatty meal, you feel yucky, it just sort of sits there, you feel bloated. Sometimes it'll even back up and cause, a little nausea, or it'll sit in your stomach and cause pain, or sometimes it can actually even cause heartburn. And that's because your stomach is basically saying, I have all this acid up here in my stomach, and if there's no bile down there, I'm not going to let the acid leave. So if the liver has gotten congested and the bile's gotten thick, then the stomach will hold on to the acid until it gets the green light. And if the green light never comes, the acid will stay and start to cause some irritation of the stomach lining. So these are some of the things that can happen. The stomach can get overly acidic. Eventually, the stomach will just sort of dial down the fire, saying, you know what, they haven't made any bile down there for so long. We're just going to turn the fire down, way down. So now my ability to produce the acid that I need to digest hard to digest foods like wheat and dairy, break down these toxic chemicals, has been compromised. And now the wheat and the dairy and the toxins and corn and soy and nuts and hard to digest proteins go undigested through the intestinal tract, irritate the intestinal wall, and cause inflammation or reactive mucus production in the gut, which can bog down those little villi, make your lymphatic system congested, and cause a host of lymphatic-based issues. It can cause eliminative issues where your intestinal elimination, bowel movements aren't functioning well. It can cause your liver to become congested, your bile to become thick. Therefore, it allows toxicity to get recirculated back into your blood versus being processed by your bile. And now those fat-soluble toxins go into your blood. Unfortunately, they are fat-soluble, so they go into your fat cells. They store for many years. Even your brain, which is 40% fat, becomes now a well-documented dumping ground for some of these fat-soluble impurities. So there are many, many strategies to unravel all of this. There are many strategies written in the article associated with this video that I write about. And of course, I've got a whole archives of over 500 articles and videos on how to reboot your lymphatic system and how to reboot your digestive system to get yourself, and how to detoxify well, to get your body to help detoxify. Definitely look at things that will help detoxify some of these fats, like our Short Home Cleanse, which is a free ebook. Anybody can get that for free. Or one of our more longer, the Short Home Cleanse is a 4-day cleanse. Our Colorado Cleanse is our 2-week cleanse, which includes a major digestive reset. The point here is that you really want to make sure that when you are rebooting function of the ability to detoxify, you have to reboot the digestive function and run a fine-tooth comb through every aspect of your digestion. Make sure that your digestion is as strong as it once was when you were in your 20s, as opposed to settling for the idea that as I get older, my digestion must get weaker. I don't believe that, and if that's happening, many things are happening, but most importantly is we are becoming more exposed, more vulnerable to the toxic accumulation, which we can prevent with great and good digestion. Please read these articles. There's so much to learn, so much to share. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John Douillard. Hi, did you like this video? Do you like our content here at LifeSpa? You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/John Douillard right here and get this valuable content every week in your inbox.
This recording is brought to you by LifeSpa, where ancient Ayurvedic wisdom meets modern science. Get access to free health video newsletters by Dr. John at lifespa.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.